this is Dumont, back with Transformers comic book review, issue number 27. Kazuma Shidan said that this issue was going to be rather significant for the Transformers, and boy was he right. So let me start off with the cover. The cover, this was the long-awaited arrival for TRYPTICON. So the cover, what more could you ask for? It has TRYPTICON battling the Dinobots, and this was the return of the Dinobots also. So, of course, the cover is very awesome, and the inside, the rest of the comic book does not disappoint. It was a very fast read for me, just because it was very action-packed, well written. At first, it seems kind of slow because we start off with humans that are, they are just kind of like, they found some weird dinosaur tracks, so they're kind of exploring that up in the mountains. So it kind of starts off like that, and we immediately go into the Dinobots that they've been been away from the other Autobots and living kind of like on their own, being scavengers. And so it kind of goes into that, and then it warps into the Decepticons. Now they have a new base in some uninhabited island, but underneath the island it's like this humongous, like under the ocean type, like underwater base type thing going on. And Shockwave along with Soundwave, the two waves, those guys are there, and they're talking to Ratbat, and Ratbat is on Cybertron, and he's like the what is it called, the energy conserving consultant or something like that. And he's basically saying that we're going to shut down the space bridge because way too much energy has been used. Shockwave is like, wait, before you do that, can you send me the most powerful Decepticon, over here, and let us do some damage to the Autobots first, and then you can shut it down. That way we'll be able to be self-sufficient. So of course, they're going to send TRYPTICON, which is just awesome. But before that, we go back to the Ark, and we see the Autobots. They're talking about how awesome Prime was, and that they need a leader that is just as awesome as Prime. And of course, Grimlock self-volunteers, and the Autobots are like, no way, you're just like a tyrant. No, of course not. And so we go back to the mountains, and on the space bridge, TRYPTICON arrives, and TRYPTICON basically turns into base mode, starts attacking the Ark, and basically the other Autobots, or the Autobots, start fighting TRYPTICON, and they are losing. They're against this massive TRYPTICON, and I'm kind of going, where's Jetfire? Jetfire. He's supposed to be, I thought he was supposed to be pretty huge, like he could transport the other Autobots or something. And even more so, where's Omega Supreme? We saw him earlier. Omega Supreme was supposed to be pretty awesome sauce, but, he's not really doing anything. And the Autobots are getting their butts kicked, basically. The Dinobots are watching, and Grimlock is kind of like, at first he's kind of like, hard, they deserve it, they're being jerks, they didn't want me as leader, so this is what they get type thing. But then he starts to feel bad. He joins in, and guess what? All the other Dinobots jump in, and they're like, hey, we all fight together. If one of us fights, we all fight. And the Dinobots are partying with TRYPTICON, basically, and they're doing a really good job. And at this point, I think it was Ratbat that said, TRYPTICON has wasted way too much energy. We need to pull him back. So they call TRYPTICON back in. And so basically the Dinobots are kind of like victorious. They save the Autobots. And in the meantime, during that whole transaction, Grimlock ends up saving a human girl, kind of coincidentally. So because of that, the Autobots kind of like, they re-evaluate, should I say, Grimlock, and they're like, we want you to be leader. And then this is kind of awesome because Grimlock actually says, I am not fit to be leader. Because of me, I got you guys really hurt really bad, and blah, 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 blah. And that just makes him sound even better, and it's almost like, well, after saying something like that, you deserve to be the leader. So anyway, it was a really good issue.